Welcome to the greatest podcast ever, featuring DrayZera, performance artist, Jackie Hyde, professional wrestler, and singer-songwriter Dan Pettit. Welcome to DrayZera Uncensored. Subscribe, like, and share only on DrayZera Uncensored. Welcome again to another episode of DrayZera Uncensored. Oh my lasagna, we have hit the cross-Atlantic. So we have got a very special guest for you today in this episode. We have got a San Diego native influenced by grassroots activism and that evolved during the counterculture of the 60s and 70s. Woo! Involved in free speech. She can say whatever she wants in this podcast. From the earthen drum of my body, here we have DEBORAH Ramos. Hello.
Hi.
You sound as if you enjoy that intro.
That was the best intro I've ever had. That was awesome. That was the best. I'll never hear one like that again.
I know, right? I mean, the craziest thing, people, is that we are talking through the power of internet technology, and DEBORAH is wide awake, and I feel that I'm still on 50% capacity, but I'm glad that I pushed that exuberance, because we have got a very, very exciting episode in store for you guys. So DEBORAH, we're recording, by the time this comes out, hopefully, first and foremost, hopefully these Californian wildfires would stop. I mean, it's been mad.
It is mad. It's tragic. It's really, California is a grave of charred, animals and grasses and fields, and it's the air quality where I am. It's not so bad right now, but we had a fire real close to us too, and there's ashes all over everything. And I actually wrote a poem about that too.
I mean, it's really sad. I mean, the thing is, it's like, I think if there's any, obviously, many people, many livestock, many lives have been ruined by this. I mean, our thoughts are with everyone affected. But I'm just glad that you live in an area where you're far away enough from the wildfires that you haven't been caught up with it directly. Thank goodness, right?
No, there's a lot of city between me and the fires, but I do know people that have lost some livestock and homes have completely burned down. And then Trump paid us a visit to California and basically said, "Fuck California. It'll cool down." That's what he said.
Oh, I heard that quote. It'll cool down. I don't think he understands how wildfires work.
It's a lot of people don't understand that the way California fires are, it burns a lot of grass and sagebrush, and Trump doesn't know shit about California.
Does Trump even know anything except building corrupt businesses and knowing how to play golf?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, one quick note on this, and then we'll just move on. Is it true? Just to clarify, did this all start with a gender reveal party, or is that false?
Oh, I heard that. I heard that too. One of the fires was ignited by that, and then the fires up north were because of lightning striking.
So you feel like, to be honest, like without this gender reveal party, then the lightning bolt would have sparked it off anyway?
Well, it would have up north, but gender reveal parties,
I mean, I was just gonna say, if anyone wants to do if anyone listening that's considering having a gender reveal party, just don't involve fire. What's wrong with just popping a balloon or just like, I don't know, cutting a slice of cake. Who is it, pink or is it blue? Woo!
People are so stupid. They're just so stupid.
I mean, I'll tell you this much right now. Like, my mum and dad, they didn't even do a gender. They said, "Oh, boy." Oh, okay.
Yeah, right?
I know, like, I don't, like, mind you, I'm not a parent, so, I mean, I don't know, like, if, I'm pretty sure I will not be a parent unless there's anyone, in my life that, is, or in my past life that's hiding something from me. I'm joking, I'm not a parent, but yeah.
You will be one day. You will
Well, deep down, I don't want to be a parent because I thought to myself, like, if I'm a parent, then I won't have time to do a podcast with Deborah Ramos. You know what I mean?
No, you would not, unless you
Exactly.
had a grandma putting your baby to bed or something.
Well, the maddest thing is that all my grandparents, 3 out of 4 of them, they haven't been around since the 1970s, and considering I was born in the 90s, I haven't met 3/4 of them.
Oh wow.
And unfortunately, the one that I did know, she passed away in 2002. So that was when I had no hair. So that's a long time ago.
That's a long time.
That's a long time ago. I was 12. Wow.
Wow.
I know. But it's all right. It's all right. A couple of years later, due to my ethnicity, I grew facial hair quick, so I felt older than I was even from then. But yeah, no. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. So yeah, so Deborah, what got you into spoken word? Because that's how we met in the virtual world in the first place.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been writing since I was little kid. And then I was writing through high school. I'm an artist, a poet. I kind of put aside the poetry for a while when I had to. I went back to college.
Yeah.
Single mom, went back to college, got my degree in theater, art, costume design, and I didn't have time for writing poetry.
Yeah. Loads of threading and all that kind of stuff, and getting the decor, all that stuff. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was probably 2000s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, I started writing again. I don't know. It's hard to say because when do you start taking your poetry serious? I don't know. I have journals and journals of stuff I would write about.
So was it almost like a personal diary in a way, and you didn't like wanted to, and you like kept it to yourself. It was a form of it was a form of release or expression, say, and then there we go, and then slowly. Was it a situation where you thought to yourself on, say, one random open mic, right? I'm just gonna speak my stuff, yeah. Let it all out.
Yeah. I found a class. Picked up a magazine, at the bookstore, and I started thinking, well, shit, I write stuff,
Oh.
And I took there's an organization here in San Diego called San Diego Writers Inc. And I actually took a class at a junior college about writing poetry, and the teacher gave us all these names of places to submit and to take classes, and that's kind of when I actually started like writing like
that you basically took it from, say, hobby to something more substantial, would you say?
Yeah. Yes. And then there's a clay bench in Bevel Park near the San Diego Zoo, and there is a poetry event happening there that I went to, and I was really inspired, and I got really excited about that. And then I found out that at that poetry bench, they would have monthly poetry readings. So I kind of started going to that years ago, and then now I pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
took over hosting the poetry readings at the Poetry Bench.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how that happened. And it's a clay bench built by women back, about 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it out of a cob, which is hay, sand, horse manure.
Wow. Really, really homemade, definitely.
It's an organic structure that was designed by an architect that builds organic houses and
Wow.
etc. And she designed this bench, and the women built it, and it's outside underneath a grove of trees, and poets come. It's like a low-lying serpent, and poets come, and share and read, and that's my venue. And since we've had to go on Zoom lately,
Yeah.
I never used to have a featured poet at the Poetry Bench, because I would always say all poets are featured. But with Zoom, I thought, well, what the hell? And then you came along.
Yeah, I think I came along in the April event as an open mic, and then you messaged me going, right, we need to talk.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just awesome. So
I mean, it was definitely fun. I really enjoyed it. I mean, for me, I think so. Unlike a lot of people that lives in the UK, I myself have been to California. So I have been to California. I have, well, specifically San Francisco and LAX airport for 5 minutes, but San Francisco mainly. But yeah, and and obviously like it was good because obviously like one of our mutual friends, Chris Vinoy, I have met him personally in person, and I recall that in San Francisco about just around this time 3 years ago I was there. I believe I was there in November 2017. Chris Vinoy and a friend of his, they were happy to drive me from Broadway at the Beat Museum where I performed at the festival, all the way back to where I was staying, because obviously everywhere in America is much bigger, so you can walk, but it'll take you forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely awesome, like how you progressed and all that. And I mean, linked to what we're talking about is how important is in California is the beat poetry historical relevance with I believe one of them is called Steinbeck. Is that correct? Like the relevancy of that area, or is beat poetry important in all of America?
It's all over America.
Yeah.
Chris Vinoy, I love Chris, and he is the king of beat poetry, and he really is the one that I was really not that aware of the beat poetry scene until I met him a few years ago. Yeah. And I've even had a couple of poems published in the National Beat anthology. But it's a thing. It really is. It is a thing. The beat. It's making a big comeback because it was popular like before the hippies. In the 50s, the beatniks. That was their style, and kind of reminiscent of that. And it's really big. I mean, they've got their convention. They had their whole I don't know if you call it a convention, but their beat. They usually meet in Connecticut.
All right.
And they did that online this time, the National Beat Festival. That's where it was.
Oh, nice. I mean, well, Connecticut is ages away from California, if my geography is correct. Wow.
It is. It's on the East Coast, and we are on the West Coast.
Wow, that will take like days or driving, or say a very long flight. Would it take? Let me just do some math. That'll take probably like a 4 hour flight or something like that.
From here to the East Coast, it's about a 6 hour flight.
6 hours? Wow, that's mad. That's mad.
Yeah.
I always
Nobody has.
always find it trippy time zones, Deborah. I mean, when I went to San Francisco, what was it? I left my country at 12 o'clock local time, and because of time zones, even though it was ages of a flight, I arrived in San Francisco at 3 p.m. Californian time. Like,
It's killer jet lag, isn't it? It is.
With jet lag, it's weird when I jet lag is always jet lag really affects me the day after I come back. So I get back to the UK, for example, and I feel great, I feel good, and then the next day it just hits me and I just collapse for like half a day or something like that, or like yeah, literally. I mean, yeah, it was mad. Yeah, I don't know. Like, have you traveled like long distance flights before?
Yes, I have, and I was just going to tell you,
Yeah.
February, just this last February,
Right. Yeah.
when the coronavirus just started to creep around the world, we went to Europe for the first time. I went with my two sons, and we went to Dublin, and then we went to York for the Viking Festival.
Oh, you went to wow! You're in York. I've been to York.
We were in York for the Viking Festival in February.
Oh
And
wow!
yeah, and well, Vikings are my peeps. Those are my peeps. So we
They're
had to
your
go on the
homies. They're your
Swedish.
homies. Wow, wow. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, to appreciate. I mean, like, Chris. I've never known Chris Vinoy without a beard, let alone without his hat. So I've always seen him with hat and beard. Um,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking of a beard. Sorry, carrying on about Vikings. Yeah, go on. How was the Viking festival in York?
We went from Dublin to York, and we spent a few days in each place, and then we took a train from London to Paris, and went to
On the
Paris to
Eurostar.
Disneyland.
Wow, that's impressive. That's cool. I've done the exact Eurostar trip, so I know how the train feels. How did you feel with the Channel Tunnel where you're in darkness for 20 minutes? How did that make you feel?
It didn't bother me.
Oh,
It was fine. We were
oh,
kind of chilling on the
no,
train,
you were
but
just so excited. You're like, I don't care about blackness or darkness.
I
Fine.
didn't care. It was just I just could not believe I was on a train going to Paris, and there
Mm.
were.
Did you notice
But
that? Sorry,
jet
so
lag. What you were asking me about the jet
yeah,
lag
yeah.
is it was so bizarre because
Mm.
I, I, I don't know. We kind of just like flowed right into the rhythm of being in Europe and the different time, zone. And it wasn't. And when I came back, my body was still on that.
You're on that. You were on that thing. Yeah, yeah.
I was still on that thing, that schedule. I was going to bed at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. I was waking up 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was thinking, man, this feels really good to do this. But then, uh, the whole world went to shit, and my whole
And the
my
rest of the
schedule
world. So
changed.
you imagine if you literally did all this the month after, you would have probably got sent home.
We got out of there just in time. As soon as we came back, the world shut down. Everything shut down. All the places we went shut down. And when we were in Dublin, and we were on public transportation.
Yeah.
Like, we went everywhere. We walked everywhere. We got in every form of transportation because we didn't have a car.
Oh, absolutely. You don't need. The funny thing is, believe it or not, a lot of people in the UK don't actually drive because it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, they got the best transit system. I mean, we could go everywhere.
I mean, like, best is a stretch. I think other places in Europe is far better than the UK, but I know exactly what you mean in comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mad. Like, I mean, like, when you're in the UK and Ireland and Paris, like, did it really starstruck you that literally, like, for example, right now, I can probably leave the 7:20 morning train, no, the 8:30 train in the morning to a place called Peterborough, which is an hour away, and then from Peterborough, I can get a direct train to York. Like, do you find that kind of mad? Like, everywhere in the country, you could just about get anywhere.
Yes, I was so impressed. I was so impressed. It was amazing. We would get on a bus, and then we could get on a train, or we could go down underground on the metro, and we got everywhere. We went everywhere and we touched everything, and
Wow.
we were like so close, shoulder to shoulder with people, and I can't believe we came back without getting sick.
Yeah. You came literally right. You came back at the right time. And do you actually? Random question. Did you actually visit any beaches in the UK?
No beaches in the UK, but
Thank goodness you weren't missing anything. Like, I was gonna apologize in advance. Like, you came from beautiful California, because I've seen the beaches in San Francisco and the beautiful water, and you come here, it's like, it's absolute trash. It's trash.
No, it wasn't trash. It was beautiful. We went to a little village on the coast of Dublin, and we saw the Sea of Ireland. You know, the Irish Sea.
And I'll tell you this right now.
The ocean water that we saw.
Did you? What was the ocean water like in Dublin? Because the thing is with Dublin and Ireland, it's in England it's interesting because Dublin really is much more European like vibes in Ireland. There's actually a very different vibe to Ireland than the rest of the UK, because Dublin, Ireland, mainland Ireland doesn't count towards the UK, but yeah.
Well, it was. I loved it. I loved it. I loved the weather. It was nice and cool. Well, it was.
Oh
yes,
cool. Yes. We will never get. Yeah, the weather will never get as hot as California's peak. No way.
Well, it was February. What a time to go to Europe. It's fucking cold. When we were in Disneyland Paris, it hailed. It hailed while we were in.
Wow. Hail is a bit rare in California, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so different. Well, in California, we don't have in Southern California.
Yeah.
I have witnessed global warming living here for my whole life.
Yeah.
We used to have thunderstorms, rainstorms growing up. We don't have that anymore. We have fires.
Wow.
Storms, earthquakes, more earthquakes than we used to have. And it's changed. It's changed a lot. The summers are hotter, and the winters are like kind of cold. That's our season. Hot and kind of cold.
Kind of cold.
Yeah, like, kind of cold.
Wow. Yeah. No worries. That's crazy. That's absolutely mind blowing. That's crazy. I have to say, Deborah. But yeah, it's mad. So yeah, like this actually mad, because it's interesting in a paradox universe. If say now that you've known like quite a few of the British people due to the poetry Zoom era, now you're like, now that I come back, I have friends to talk to.
Yeah, it was cool. When we were in, I found an open mic in Dublin.
Oh yeah.
And I did an open mic in Dublin in this really awesome little pub, the International Bar is called, and I did my research and found open mics, and I told my sons, if I'm going to be in Dublin, I'm going to an open mic. I'm going to read something in Dublin, and I did. And my oldest son, he has long hair. He's Native American, Mexican, Swedish.
Yeah.
And
what a mix.
Yeah, what a mix. And they loved him. They loved his California accent. He was always trying to find pot. And I know it's not legal over there, but oh my God, everybody would come up to him, and everybody wanted to sell him shit. And it was fun.
It's so weird because so in the UK, talking about cannabis or hemp or whatever, so it's a weird dichotomy. So we have recently opened in the last 5 years. say, cannabinoid oil shops, right? Yeah, like kind of like professional cannabinoid oil shops. But the actual cannabis itself is still very taboo. And I'm like, in my head, there's this meme going around. Like, so Mike Tyson at the age of 55, 56, looking great, smokes cannabis every day. And we have this footballer, or soccer player, called Paul Gascoigne, same age, he drinks alcohol, and he looks, without any disrespect to Paul Gascoigne fans, he looks absolute shit.
Wow.
So, you know, it's like, well, I mean, I'm not trying to impose my views on people, but, you know, if Mike Tyson's got a great six-pack at his age, well, don't know, alcohol versus hemp, I mean, well, I mean, you know. You know, the funny thing is, you mentioned Dublin, yeah? Funnily enough, on my 30th birthday, which was on March 23rd, I was actually meant to go to Dublin that week.
Oh, really?
Yes, but in England, the national lockdown happened the exact day of my birthday.
Right.
So what happened was so my plan initially was I was meant to go to Portugal for a few days. So I was meant to go to Lisbon and then go to Dublin. But the thing is, I looked on the website, some of the flights were starting to get cancelled. So I just basically went, oh no. And obviously, morality-wise, I thought, no thanks. I wasn't going to go to. There's no way, because basically the pandemic was happening. It was getting scary. I'm like, nope, I'm staying in. So yeah, it was mad. And that week slowly began the Zoom era.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, see, we went February 15th, and we were there for 2 weeks. We came back home like February 28th.
Wow, you really packed everything in, didn't you?
Everything shut down. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe we got out of there. We would have been stuck for sure, but
you would have been stuck, and you would have been
so beautiful.
Oh man, it's mad. But yeah, that is crazy. But yeah, I'll tell you this. When it's such a weird dichotomy, because like the way I see it is like the one thing that I felt in California, obviously like I don't want to like blanket make a statement about California in general, but I feel like California, the lifestyle of people seems to be a lot more relaxed. And for example, so you've been to London and that. Like you've noticed that there's a lot more hustle and bustle, kind of like a New York potential vibe of like people going such a fast pace, whereas California is kind of like relax, it's fine.
Well, Southern California is for sure. If you're in San Diego, it's pretty relaxed. And
yeah, San Fran was kind of relaxed for me. Like,
yes,
especially as a tourist,
it's very chill. Yeah. But if you're in LA, I don't know if you.
Oh, LA, yes. The stereotype of LA is basically it's like the kind of the cosmopolitan, but like it's kind of like if you don't live there unless you're rich. And another stereotype is that like literally like is where all the where all the celebrities are, and just basically like you almost don't have time for things.
Yeah, it's that's where I went right after I graduated from college. I moved up there to Hollywood to work in the costume shops, and I was there for a year or two, and I couldn't stand it anymore. It was insane, and that was a long time ago. The traffic, the
the traffic. Yeah, I mean, they say that to if you want to leave for your flight from from wherever you are to LAX, you must leave with 4 hours notice or something like that, or some nonsense like that. Man, it's mad. And I mean, so with LA, I mean, like you were there for 1 or 2 years, but you felt to yourself, wow, this isn't me, because like you know when you write stuff such as from the earthen drum of my body, that's like nah. This lady is not from LA. She, you know what I mean?
I am not.
Absolutely.
I couldn't stand LA, and my oldest son was 6 at the time, and just the routine of getting him to school, and then me getting down up to North Hollywood, and just the whole workday was goddamn long, and he started biting other kids, and he was always in trouble, and I thought, okay, fuck this. I'm going back to San Diego. I'm back.
Wow.
And I did. I came back, and that's when I started working for the San Diego Opera and the Old Globe. Still was working for doing the costumes, but.
So then so interesting, cause with costumes and fashion, I mean, it makes me feel that you've always had kind of a passion for fashion. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I do. I'm a shoe girl. I like to buy shoes.
Ah. So should I actually ask how many pairs of shoes or pairs of footwear you own, or is that a crazy question?
Say that again?
How many pairs of shoes do you own, or is that kind of a question where you don't want to reveal on air?
Oh, no, I don't have that many shoes, but I don't know.
Well, how much is that many? What if I told you I only own like 4 or 5 pairs of shoes maximum at any time of my whole life?
Okay, I've got like 5 times that. But during the summer, I'm always barefoot wearing flip-flops, you know. So, and now it's pandemic, so it's like,
Wow.
Just tennis shoes and flip-flops.
I think I have to say, like, obviously, like, so we're talking about, like, I briefly mentioned From the Earth and Drum of My Body, like, so
Yes.
I've read this book, so for all those that don't know, Deborah Ramos is a published writer, woo!
Yes, I am, yay!
This book from Blue Light Press, First World Publishing, I mean, I'll read the blurb quickly. From the Earth and Drum of My Body, tell stories about wild women, hungry lovers, and the shaman that rescues roadkill abandoned on the side of the road. Interesting.
Yep.
Within these pages are healings of the heart and spirits, journeys of ancient souls that haunt canyons, jungles, and dark castles. Deborah Ramos' poems reveal visions of past lives with queens and the sea, some worlds real and some imagined. And I mean, I have to say, like right off the bat, when I read this book, you literally have a very bold style. Like, like your first poem, Just Another Lobster Poem, for example. The first line, vagina dentata. I'm like, what? I was like,
okay. Well, let me tell you what my publisher said. My publisher said about that poem. She said, if you can't get past the first poem, you don't deserve to read the rest of the book. So that's that first poem, and obviously you read the rest of the book.
Yeah, man, it was mad. It was mad. Yeah, it was crazy, and I mean, adding to big shout out to also with the cover design by Melody Gendron. I'm just reading the credits here, and of course you also did the interior art as well.
Yeah, that's all my art. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow. So the artistry within you is awesome, because like so I myself have got a book. For all those that don't know, Broken Circuit Board, available in the link below. Of course, alongside Deborah Ramos' book in the description below. But yeah, for real. Like I mean, for yeah. Look at that quick plug I did. But yeah, no, for real. On my book, I'm like, nah, fam, I can't draw. Like my best drawing would be like, I don't know, like advanced stick drawings. Like no way. I'm like, right, I need a professional for this. So yeah, shout out to Alexandra Chambers. She did the artwork for my book and helped with the front cover as well. But no, for real though, it's a legit mad thing. I mean, so tell us about how how many is this like your main pride and joy, this book, or have you made books before?
Oh, this is my first published book.
Woo!
And I'm working. I know, right? I'm working on a second collection, and I was real happy when this got published, and that's my rising goddess on the cover there. I do a lot of goddess art.
Yeah.
And I actually use I have a ball python, a 20-year-old ball python, and when that snake sheds, I collect the shedded skin, and because I do collage and I always apply snakeskin to all my pieces.
Oh, I noticed that now. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that with the gradients in the background of the goddess. Yeah, I see it now.
That's Mercury. That's his skin on there. But
Wow.
I love it. It's a fun thing to play with it.
Just to clarify, anyone buying the book, that is not the exact skin of Mercury. It is just artwork used by Mercury on the original. Don't think you're buying Snake, okay? You're buying book, okay, guys?
Right.
Just to clarify.
And the snake was not harmed in
No snakes
the
were harmed in the production of the
this
book. No, no snakes were harmed. That's really fascinating. So, talk me through the process of how you got this first book, because obviously, for me, it's a very shortened version of my story. Like, I was starting with spoken word in 2016, and then at the end of that year, towards the end of that year, I had a connection with a mate of mine called Mel, who, if you don't know, you know them tall ships that like ships like Pirates of the Caribbean and that.
Oh.
Those kind of ships, so them big old school ships, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I used to. One of my hobbies includes tall ship sailing of them kind of ships. I've done it twice.
Oh wow.
So I've been on like voyages and that. So yeah, I know. I'm not just some guy that that sits in front of my laptop recording podcasts. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I've done that twice, and Mel was the individual that introduced me to that, and she's a published writer herself, and she talked to her publisher on my behalf, and yeah, I got my book, my first book, and my only book to this day, Broken Circuit Board, which was kind of cool. It was kind of cool, and yeah, that process was mad. And talk me through your process. How did your first book come to light?
Okay, I will tell you. Blue Light Press is
Mm,
in San Francisco,
yeah.
and I don't remember how I even found her online, but the editor publisher Diane Frank, she's my mentor. She's the most amazing poet. She has a website, Blue Light Press, and she teaches online workshops and in-person poetry retreats. And I started taking her online workshops, and I entered a collection. I probably entered 2 or 3. She has poetry chapbook contests,
Mm,
and I entered one of her contests, and she liked the collection I had put together. I had entered before, and it didn't happen. But this collection here, she really likes my work, and she really wanted to publish my work, and she put it together. She's the one, and we're
wow.
still great friends. I've been to 2 of her in-person retreats, 4-day retreats in San Francisco, amazing.
Yeah.
And then she offered her, it's always in the summer, and this summer she did a hybrid of online and Zooming and emailing poetry retreat workshop. So but that's what happened. And then she put me in touch with her book designer, and I wanted to use my art, and they were fine with that, and yeah,
Wow.
that's how it happened. She's the one that took a chance.
that is impressive. That is impressive. Wow. So, have you made any other publications apart from your main collection here?
Well, I've appeared in many anthologies and collection, little poetry books and
well, I mean,
journal.
This is all about you, so you're more than happy to talk about it. Unless you're like, man, I'm so cool. I've made so many publications. I've lost track. I'm joking, bud. I'm joking.
Well, I got a poem published in an anthology about the pandemic called "Fuck Isolation."
Yeah.
I have 2 poems in that.
I mean,
and then one of my last poems that I wrote about the fires, Diane from Blue Light, she's putting together a pandemic puzzles. It's called Pandemic Puzzles Anthology, and she's gonna publish one of my poems in there. So besides my book, I've been published in various magazines and journals and anthologies. So that's kind of.
That's pretty cool because like the thing is with me, I have been published in other publications apart from my main book only like 3 or 4 times. But like I think it's definitely something that I really want to push forward and do that kind of thing because like with me like it's very interesting because it's very fascinating how different people go about their poetry because I think I do it kind of weird because I really like my visual stuff like I edit my own videos. I make my own videos. Like you've liked enough of my videos. Like you know what I mean. And like doing my own editing and that kind of stuff. But yeah, like a more conventional route is what people usually do, and it's that getting that like getting things published. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I forget that I'm a writer as well. So
yeah, well, you're a really busy guy. You've got a lot of things going on, and you have to take the time to
do the submission,
submit your stuff. And with all the online shit, you don't even have to put stuff in the mail. You just submit it electronically. I mean, back in the day, I had a children's book published years ago.
Ooh, and, revelation!
And we had to, send everything through the mail until, what was that white powder that they got in the mail? Was it, oh shit.
What is that?
Why can't I think
of
it?
White powder? This sounds like some weird juju right here.
Well, the people started getting mail that had this chemical in it. It would make them sick and kill them, and I forget the name of this freaking
white
chemical. But
white powder. Yeah, carry on. Hot powder on lettuce. Let's have a look. Is it anthrax?
Yes, anthrax.
Yes. Wow. See, I've done. It's called the anthrax hoaxes. Interesting. So I'm just like googling this now. This definitely. That has never ever happened really. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not happened like in the country that I live in. Unless if it had happened, it was way before my time.
Yeah, way before your time. And it was happening all over the place here in America. And that's when publishers started saying, no, don't mail us your manuscripts anymore. Email it. And that's kind of when that started.
Wow, that's pretty. Yeah. That's pretty eye-opening. I mean, huh? Wow, mad. Wow, incredible stuff. That is really eye-opening. And I don't know what's more eye-opening. Either the anthrax thing or you publishing a children's book after me reading from the earth and drum of my body. I'm like, wait, this is not for kids.
No, it's not.
Not for,
it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely
it's
not.
My
No, it's mad. But no, yeah, it is very fascinating because like it just shows like your journey and that kind of stuff, and you're open to you're working on your second full collection. I'm assuming I have a strong assumption that because you and Blue Light Press are now potentially best friends, asking are you going to be publishing with them for your second book, or they're going to be a different direction?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I will submit it to her. She's my mentor. I mean, she's the one that taught me how to really tighten up my poetry, my stanzas, she's the one that taught me how to go for the imagery. Imagery is really, really highly important in poetry instead of just all emotion, when you're writing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I don't know. I still haven't, I'm still working on poems, and I don't know.
So if anyone, any publisher across the world that's listening to this right now, make your strongest bid, guys. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on, wait a moment. DrayZera is not Deborah Ramos' manager. Well, I am now. I'm joking.
You're a great manager.
I'll be. I'm joking. By the way, just to clarify, please do not DM me or PM me about offers for Deborah Ramos. I am not her manager. I'm just doing this podcast interview. Oh man. Although, yeah, I mean, it is crazy. I mean, so as well as with the Zoom events, like, how have you adapted during this whole pandemic? Because obviously we don't want to talk about it too much because it is a sad subject to talk about. But I feel that you strike me as somebody that loves nature, you love the outdoors, and then the government's like, no, and you're like, what?
Yeah. The poetry bench. The poetry community, we have a pretty strong poetry community here in San Diego, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And the poetry bench was one of the only outdoor, very organic venues. I didn't have a wine bar. I didn't have organic salads. I didn't have espresso. We didn't have none of that shit. At the poetry bench, it was just outside under the trees on a Sunday afternoon, and just for an hour. It was always just an hour. So people could walk to the park, go to the zoo, go across the street for their wine or beer or coffee. And everybody really loved being there.
Yeah.
Outside. And it took me a while to finally decide to cancel my outdoor reading, which happened in March when we got back from Europe. My next, in February, a friend of mine, she hosted my poetry bench reading, at the literal physical bench.
Yeah.
And in March, I was still going to do it.
Wow.
Outside. I didn't want to not do it, but things kept getting worse and worse and worse. And for the safety of the community and myself and everybody else, I canceled that. And then I started doing the Zoom thing. And that's kind of how that happened. And it's been kind of cool because now, look, I met you. You were my feature. And everybody from all over gets to, join the community. I've been enjoying that. I've been really having fun with that.
Interesting. That's very sweet of you to mention me. I feel loved. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty cool. I mean, so when this comes out, last month in September, I actually attended my very first poetry performance of the year in person, and it was an outdoor event in a park in Southend, which for all those that are listening from across the Atlantic, Southend is a seaside town which is about, say, 67, about an hour away from London, I would say, on the train. But yeah, so it was amazing. It was at a park, and it seems like with restrictions coming soon in this country, or by the time that this podcast comes out, we might be under lockdown too. That'll probably be my last poetry event of the year. Thank you very much, guys. But what's happening in America right now? Have restrictions eased? Is it coming back? What's happening?
Well, what's happening is, oh God, where do I start?
Where do you start? Yeah, let's go from the month of September. Let's go from the month of August to September. We don't need to go too far back, but yeah.
So what's happening here is in California, our numbers shot way back up. The curve is starting to flatten. But when they opened the bars and the beaches, and then it's summer, everybody went down there. And I went to the beach today, but I avoided the main drag down there in Ocean Beach because there's so many people on the street without masks on, mostly younger people. I hate to say that, but that's when the numbers started going back up, when the bars opened and the beaches opened. When they first closed down everything, beaches, you could go on the beach, but there was cops patrolling the beaches, so nobody could gather into groups of more than 2 or 3 people.
Wow.
And I took pictures. I would go to the beach because that's where I need to go. I need to go to my ocean sometimes just to walk.
Literally feel the waves, feel that vibe, feel the sand between your toes. Yeah.
That's where I need to be sometimes. And the cops were down there all over patrolling the beaches and making sure people weren't stopping. You couldn't stop, you couldn't sit.
Wow.
Well, now, of course, they're open and full on open. And on the weekends especially, it's so crowded, it's scary. So I don't go down there.
Wow. So I'll tell you something crazy. So in August, so that was the month in August where the UK started to open up a little bit more. So there was this thing called there was this scheme in England called Eat Out to Help Out. So what that means is like on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, to try and boost the economy, every restaurant that entered into the scheme, every food is half price. Your bill is half price.
Wow.
So and the government will pay the difference to the companies. And so what happened, right, is that this was a Tuesday, right, and it was the week of my girlfriend's birthday. Shout out to my girlfriend Becca. Anyway, big up. Anyway, so on her birthday week, we went to a town called Cromer, which is a beach town, which is about half an hour away from Norwich, I would say, or if that. And it was a Tuesday, right? Keep this, a Tuesday, and it was packed. And it's not even one of the more popular beaches around the area, like, and it was packed because of the whole Eat Out to Help Out scheme. And in the month of September, the numbers have now, the cases have now shot up. Deaths are still a low number, but the cases are, therefore, basically, we're slowly getting restrictions again.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is localized restrictions. So where I am specifically, where I'm talking right now, at this point of where we're recording, there's no like real restrictions. But if I'm at Birmingham, for example, oh my days, there's there's a local lockdown there. So that's mad. It's absolutely crazy at the moment, and by this time, I'll probably, if it goes the way that I think it may go, I might as well just be recording podcasts every day. I have no social life.
Yeah, I know. Well, here, Californians want their beach, and they want to go to the beach, and they want to go to their bars, and if the bar serves food, they can be open, and they're extending their open patios out into the street. So they screw up the parking because they've got like little outdoor patios in the park in the street. But that kind of screwed us up. That really screws up. And then we have, the Trump cult people who refuse to wear masks.
Oh, anti-mask wearers, yeah.
Oh, they're so stupid. They're just complete idiots because they think that. It's so stupid. They think that it's a conspiracy. They think it's a Democrat conspiracy, the virus, wearing the masks, and they're idiots. They're idiots.
It took a long time for Trump to even wear a mask, didn't it?
He doesn't wear a mask ever.
I think he wore a mask for 2 minutes.
2 seconds, and that was it, because he doesn't want to cover up his,
his apparent alleged face. I don't know, I don't want to I talk about personal relationships, but Ivanka, yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you won't be listening to this podcast, but Ivanka, yeah, I think you see the paycheck rather than the man. I mean, I'm sure you are happy financially, but my God, you can do better, girl. All right.
Yeah, or maybe not. I don't know. I can't stand her. I can't stand him.
Can't stand.
And it's just insane. And we've got the most.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't the midterms start in well, when this comes out? Would it be starting around October, November time? Is that correct?
Say that again.
The
I'm
midterm,
sorry.
the midterm elections.
It's coming up in November 2nd, I want to say, and I plan to go to the poll and stand in line however long I need, because a lot of people are doing the mail-in ballots, but he's fucking around with the postal system too, and I want to make sure my vote gets in there, and he gets out, and he is like the orange haze that is polluting our world right now, and I just...
It was mad. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, like, yo, like, so from an outsider, right? America was cool when you had Obama, right?
Yes! Oh, God! Oh, okay, I have to tell you, I'm embarrassed to be an American. I am embarrassed. And it's like, I hate Trump. I hate him. I hate everything about him. I hate what's happening with Black Lives Matter and this goddamn don't wear a mask. He was tweeting to states to liberate themselves and take off the masks, and then you've got
isn't he like
at one of our grocery stores just down the street from me, there was a man that walked into a grocery store with a Ku Klux Klan hood on.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And at another grocery store, there was a man that had a swastika on his mask. And it's insane. And that's his base. These are his supporters.
Wow.
These are the people. Yeah. It's really disturbing. It's really upsetting. Wow. And it's embarrassing to be an American right now.
I'm gonna quote his Twitter is just a meme. So I'm going to read one quick tweet from him from 7 hours ago of when we're recording this. I feel that I think he's got so much hot air. I can't believe he's not floating at the moment. But anyway, today I announced 2 of the largest grants in history to Puerto Rico to rebuild its electrical grid system and education system. My administration will be awarding $13 billion through FEMA, the largest obligation of funding ever awarded. And then Donald Trump said, Obama killed the pharmaceutical manufacturing business in Puerto Rico. We are bringing it back from China. And wait, what?
Oh my God.
Fam, he talks like
he's an idiot.
I know, he's really like he's a madman. Like, wow.
Yeah. Madman. He is a madman. He's the mad king. And what blows my mind is that the Republicans don't do shit. They support him and then don't do shit. And it's just so disturbing.
I feel like Fauci, the main doctor, the whole pandemic thing, I don't know too much about him, but I swear, like, when I watched 1 or 2 interviews, I swear he acts so awkward going, oh no, why is Trump saying this again? Oh no.
He's a scientist. Trust science. Oh my God. What did Trump say the other day? Oh, science doesn't know. Yeah, I heard him say that.
I mean, while obviously I spoke before about how obviously the Wuhan area and the Chinese government, we should definitely that's another discussion for another day. But I have talked against the corrupt Chinese government. By the way, when this comes out, I don't think after me calling the Chinese government corrupt, I don't know if I'll be around anymore. But jokes aside, jokes aside, like, you know, like that's they lied to us about the pandemic and how serious it was. But Trump is certainly definitely not helping out, and hopefully, like, it seems like 2021 will be the year where things will hopefully get back to normal, right, Deborah? You would hope.
Oh yeah, sure. The virus is just gonna go away, right? It's just gonna go away. That's what Trump
All right,
said.
all right, all right, all right.
It's just gonna go away.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay. It seems like this was me. That was me being a generous estimate right there. I mean, you do bring, you do bring a very fair point. I mean, in your opinion, when do you think this pandemic will go away? Because obviously, without sounding disrespectful to all the rest of the world, because of how powerful the American economy is, we need America strong again.
Yeah, we do, don't we? I know. I'm with you on that. I know they're working on vaccines. There's brilliant scientific minds that are trying to develop a vaccine, and we all know that's our only hope.
Hmm.
This is our world right now until that happens.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is it.
And I don't know if you've heard the news. This has just only happened only a few hours ago. Rest in peace, Ruth
Yeah.
Bader Ginsburg, who actually
Yep.
passed
Yeah.
away passed away in the last few hours.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Wasn't it Rosh Hashanah that she passed on
Mm,
the day?
something like that. But yeah, for all those that don't know, I'm reading up about her because obviously Ruth Bader Ginsburg is not well known in the UK. How has Ruth helped America and in what she did? Would you like to briefly talk about it?
Well, I'm not a politician. She has been a very powerful influence, and she has held her space
Mm,
for women for what, since the 80s or something,
mm,
you know? Um, and now that she's gone, we're very worried. Hopefully, they won't fill her position till after the election, which is what's supposed to happen.
yeah,
But knowing how things just don't happen the way they're supposed to
yeah,
anymore with this administration, I would not be surprised if Trump and his cronies replace her with. I mean, she was pro women's rights and pro, choice and civil rights, and
mm,
God, we need her. We need a woman like that, and it worries me and worries a lot of fellow Americans that that's not what's going to happen. I'm really worried about that. That Trump's just going to put somebody in there that he appoints before the election
yeah.
happens.
That will be hugely disrespectful.
It would be awful.
That
I
would
mean,
be
they.
hugely disrespectful, and I think I'm actually reading here that going into the news, yeah, it's looking like it'll be still vacant until after the elections, but obviously we don't know at this time. Yeah, rest in peace to Ruth and to anyone that's any thoughts and prayers go to anyone that's been affected. But so obviously, it seems to me that with your traveling, right what we talked about at the start of this episode, you talked about traveling and that. Obviously, when this eventually goes away with the vaccine and all that kind of stuff, do you want to keep traveling? Because obviously, there's a whole world out there. Because I found out a very random, interesting bit of news. So apparently, only 10% of Americans own an American passport of which they could leave the country. I found that out the other month. That's
Oh, wow.
so 9/10 of Americans never left the Americas by that statistic. That's incredible.
That is. That is. I got my first passport in 2015 when I went to Ecuador with my son,
Mhm.
and back in what year was 1992, I think it was. We went to Jamaica, my ex-husband and I, and you didn't have to have a passport.
Mm.
You didn't have to have a passport to go to Mexico. I'm real close to the border
Because
here.
I think it's the whole kind of like, cause you from America, there's certain countries you're exempt and like, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because you said you got your first passport in 2015. But
Yeah.
I was, it's only 5 years ago. That's crazy because like I've got my in the UK, people get their first passports like as soon as they're born, usually, cause
Oh,
is
really?
yeah
Wow.
like I would say my road had 40, so my road has what 48 houses for example. I would say nearly 100% all own a passport. Like I loosely remember like my mum showing me my first baby passport, even though I didn't even leave the country until 1997. Like my first country I went to, I was only 7. I went to Sweden. But yeah, like in literally yeah, like you have to like I think I don't know 100%, but unless even if going to Ireland, if you're from England, you have to get a passport, cause you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it's yeah, legit. Having a passport is very, very important. So it really shows you that I know America has over 50 states and everything, and you have literally all kinds of conditions. but
Yes. Yeah.
but it is mad to think that like, cause
It is.
Chris Vinoy himself, he told me that he only recently got a passport around the similar time that when you had a passport, and he travelled around like parts of Europe for his poetry. Do you know what I'm getting at here? So
No.
it is mad. I mean, was it a kind of situation where in America, like, do you feel like you were so busy you didn't even think about getting a passport, or is one of those that you always wanted to? Is I don't know. How does it all work there? Cause it's mad that you only got a passport 5 years ago. I find that mind blowing.
Well, for me, I've been all over the United States, and like I said, I live right by the border, and so I would always go to Mexico. I've been down to Mexico City and back. Didn't have to have a passport, but I traveling in the U.S. I always did, but I never thought about getting a passport to go to another country because I mean I was working, I was
Yeah.
raising kids.
Mhm.
I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to go anywhere.
Oh,
You know,
really?
I was just a working mom and trying to do my art and trying to raise my kids
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. That's
trying, you
understandable.
know, that I didn't start thinking about it till
When your kids were a lot older.
yeah, till just a few years ago, and I
Wow.
thought, well, yeah, I can do that. Shit, yeah, I can
Hell
do that.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'll do that.
It's
And
it
I
is.
went to
Mm,
Ecuador with my son, and we went down to the Amazon, and then went up to the
mm.
Andes, and
It is mad because cause seeing the Aztecs and that is amazing, and I was just saying like, so it's interesting in Europe, right, in the whole continent of Europe, if you are smart, it's dirt cheap to travel around Europe, for example. So for example, so last year I went to Milan in Italy, right? um Deborah, you still there?
yeah, yeah.
Sorry. I was just double checking because I was like, oh no, audio silence. Oh no. But anyway, I'll
No,
carry
no,
on.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Hell, oh, thank you. Yeah, so I was in Milan last year, and it only cost me. So I'll just use American currency. So it only cost me like $16 each way to go to Milan from where I live,
Wow,
because like
wow.
certain flights are dirt cheap to go around, and yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty rad to do that for a couple of days, and I went to Poland the year before, and
Wow.
Poland was only like it only cost me only $12 each way to go to Poland, and
God,
Poland
that's so cheap. That's so cheap.
and Poland is so cheap, right? That I was only there for one night, but I only took like $50 with me, and because of how Polish currency works, it's because of Polish currency, right? It took it literally like I was spending money as if I was rich, like yeah. My Uber was like an Uber, a 30-minute Uber from Gdynia to Gdansk airport in Poland was only like a few bucks in comparison.
Wow. Oh,
Um,
Ecuador is like that, and in Ecuador, their dollar is the American dollar. That's their
wow.
currency is the United. So that was another good reason to go. And yeah, it was $1 from the airport to our hotel. We went to Quito, the capital.
Wow.
It was that cheap too. It was just like that. It was like a 40-minute, 50-minute drive from the airport to our little hotel, and it was like $5, $1 a person. And there was
Wow, that is incredible. That is incredible. I'll tell you this, right? So, when this pandemic is all over, one country that you have to visit. So, I've been to this country. You should definitely go to Japan at least once in your life.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like, okay, all right, cool. You're like, what was there to do there? Right, I'm glad you asked that question, Deborah.
Oh, you're asking me what country I would go to?
Well, I'll ask you that in a minute, but quickly telling you about
Okay.
Japan. In March, April time in Japan, they have this thing called Sakura season, which is cherry blossom season. That's where all the cherry blossoms like grow all around Japan. And I'll tell you this, right? Japan, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to electronics, when it comes to just so very cool, crazy shit, if you're a tourist or, as they say in Japanese, a gaijin, which is translated to foreigner, if you go there, like the hot springs and everything, it is so cool. And 100%, if you're a fan of shoes, you need to go to Shibuya 109.
Okay.
So Shibuya 109 in the Shibuya area of Tokyo, it is 9 floors, and every floor has loads of shops. 9 floors dedicated to women's shopping.
Oh, what? Women's shopping?
Women like women clothes only, like like everything for women only, like anything you think that a woman would stereotypically want, or like, well, shoes. Imagine the amount of shoes that are there.
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Now that is, and next door there's Shibuya 106, which is like Shibuya 103 or 106, just 3 or 4 floors of men's clothing. But obviously Shibuya 109 is so popular because I remembered I was there. I was there in Japan, and I was at the Shibuya 109 because I was with a female individual, and yeah, it was like, I think we spent like half a day there.
Wow.
It felt like it, at least, but it was mad. But yeah, going back to your question, yeah, Deborah, where would you want to go? What 5 countries would you like to visit? Go for it.
I would want to go to Svalbard. It's Norway. No, I would go to Norway because I'm Norwegian Swedish, and there's an island just north of Norway called Svalbard.
I've heard of it. I've heard of that island because I have a mate called Katrin Solvag who lives not far away from where I live, but she's Norwegian and she's a poet herself. That very north part of Norway, I'm not 100% sure, but you might be able to see the Northern Lights as well there.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you can go out on those little boats and look for polar bears, if there's still any polar bears, and look for icebergs if there's still any icebergs left, but
yeah,
it looks beautiful, and my son and I really want to go there. That's where we would go.
Wow, and yeah, Norway definitely does sound fun. What other country would you like to go to, or is Norway like, I must go there?
It's a must. Probably Sweden, because that's where my dad's family is from. Sweden, Norway. Where else? Oh, I know. Patagonia.
What or where is Patagonia?
Argentina.
Oh, Argentina. Oh, fair enough. Oh, yeah, okay.
Very southern tip of Argentina.
Ah, wait, if it's the southern tip of Argentina, does that mean it's like very close to the South Pole?
Yes, it is.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and they actually have wine tasting down there.
Right, something tells me that you like wine tasting. Right, I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am a wino for sure, and now I'm an Irish whiskey
hybrid wino. Yeah.
That's what I am. That's a good word, a hybrid. Well, when we were in Dublin, we went to the Teeling whiskey distillery.
and you said to them, right, how can I buy 10 barrels, please?
Well, we brought back a bunch of bottles. We did do that, but that was fun. That was
That's
awesome.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It does make me think to myself, like, wow, it's pretty amazing, like, all these countries, and, like, 'cause there's over 200 countries in this whole world. And one place, one place that I definitely want to visit, or who knows in the future, if that could be maybe my residency, but obviously I don't want to speak too far ahead of time. So my girlfriend is actually Australian.
Oh, yeah,
but she
Australian.
but she came to this country. Anyway, long story short, she definitely told me that she wants me to go to Australia and visit there. And Australia, yeah, is apparently wow, especially like the state of Victoria, aka Melbourne, is apparently very, very good. And I've seen video clips. I think highly recommended. Obviously, like, you know, you can see kangaroos and awesome stuff like that as well. And seeing as you're a very like spiritual individual, I think New Zealand is definitely a country you should consider because of the tribes, and also like also the Maori language is reviving and all that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's very picturesque, and they have some cool place like Piamu Pramu and all that kind of stuff.
What's the little island? Isn't there a little island off the coast of Australia somewhere with the? Oh, because Justine, Josh, my son, wanted to go there too, and we were talking. He was telling me about some little island that's off the coast. Tasmania is another place.
The island next to Australia is New Zealand, but you think about something smaller. Fiji?
Yeah.
Fiji, is that there?
I don't know. I can't remember my brain. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize. Here at the DrayZera Uncensored podcast, yeah, like it's fine. It's fine. I can. The joy is I have my laptop right in front of me. So we have these islands here near Australia. We have Kangaroo Island, Rottnest Island, Phillip Island, Christmas Island, Magnetic Island, Bruni Island, Fraser Island.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. There's some like rock formations or something that are the Tiwi Islands.
Oh, Tiwi, yep, one of them. Yep, Tiwi Islands is one of the names that's listed here. Oh, yes, that could be. Yes, Bruni Islands in Tasmania. That reminds me, in Japan, there is an island in Japan which is basically nicknamed Bunny Island.
Bunny Island?
It's basically an island full of rabbits.
Oh, yeah, aw.
Yeah, for real, like legit. Apparently there was this, I can't remember the story, apparently decades ago, I think there were like a couple of rabbits there, and they're like put into this island, and then, well, let's just say that a big family was born.
Wow.
I know, it's like, literally it's crazy, madness, yeah. It's just really fascinating, because like I really like, my aim in life is to travel to every single country in the world.
Then don't have kids. You won't make it.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Deborah. Yeah. I think my girlfriend is more than happy with that, and obviously, like, I don't know. I don't think my girlfriend listens to everything I post on the internet, so hopefully I'm safe here. Yeah. So I was about to go to something a bit personal, but I'm like, wait, no, it's all about Deborah. Shut up, Dre. Shut up, fam. Anyway, including, and I know this sounds scary. So did you know that North Korea has a tourism industry?
Has a what?
A tourism industry.
A porn industry?
No, tourism, not porn.
Oh, tourism, okay.
No, we don't want that language. I'm joking. Yeah, basically, right, so this is how you do it. This is very weird, but, so how it works is this. You have to go to, say, China, for example, and then you have to take a train or a flight from China to North Korea. So, at the airport, you basically you have to go via a tourism agency. You can't just fly there. You have to go through a tourist agency, and a group of you guys have to be assigned a like the equivalent of a Sherpa, but like a tourism guy, yeah.
Damn.
But basically, you basically have this whole tourism thing. It's like very dystopic because obviously it shows like everything great about North Korea, but it won't. It's basically like it's kind of a bit like the Beijing Olympics, where in the Olympics in 2008 they just boarded up and hid away the poor areas.
Wow. My God.
So basically, in theory, yes, you can go there, but you can't use their North Korean currency. When you go to souvenir shops or random shops in North Korea, you have to use dollars, euros, or pounds.
Wow.
So no North Korean currency for you. Yeah.
I don't. That doesn't even sound fun.
No, but I think for curiosity, as much as my girlfriend is telling me, Dre, you're an idiot for even thinking about going to North Korea. I'm like, yo, I just want to like check it out. Like, I just want to say to people, I went to North Korea and survived.
Yeah, you can say that. Have you been to Hawaii?
No, that is definitely somewhere. I think we mentioned this before ages ago. I think, like off air, like ages ago. I think you've definitely highly recommended Hawaii to me. Yeah.
I may have. I love Hawaii. I've been there twice, and it has everything. To me, it was like being in another country, but not. And it was like all beach, all jungles,
everything you want.
Everything I ever, I love the rain. I love rain, and so it rains, and you got the beach, and you got the jungles, and you just the perfect weather.
Yeah.
And it's Hawaii. What I loved about Hawaii is that it is all about the culture. They have not lost their culture.
They have not lost the spirit of Hawaii.
No, I don't think, no, because it's all about that culture. I mean, in California, we had thousands of Native American tribes, but they were wiped out during the gold rush.
Unfortunately,
massacred. And California is not all about indigenous culture.
Yeah.
But Hawaii, I found, was, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was, I love Hawaii.
That's pretty great. I mean, so one thing I don't know if I told you this, but so my sister did this whole DNA test thing, right? And because my sister is so much legit, she is far richer than me. Anyway, she's my younger sister too. Anyway, she did this whole 23andMe DNA test, and I found out from my mum's side of the family, I am 1% Native American.
Oh.
So yes, so my ancestry, a little bit of my ancestry comes from the Native American tribes. And I looked to myself and went, so this is why my hair hasn't fallen out. Because one thing, so my dad's side of the family, at this point, if my dad's side of the family, if they have long hair, they would have got bald by now, but hell yeah, my hairline is still here.
Yeah, wow. So that would be in Canada or just the U.S. or
somewhere. Yeah. Well, I don't know how, but anyway, but it is very fascinating in that regard. But yes, with that said, I mean, it really does strike me as like the whole kind of like colonial kind of stuff, because colonialism really makes me like really sad, because like, so I'll tell you about something from my kind of ancestry. So you've heard of Winston Churchill, yeah?
Say that again?
You've heard of Winston Churchill, yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so in this country, in the UK, people, a lot of people in history, we never got taught about the bad things Winston Churchill did. So I only found this kind of stuff recently. So obviously my origins comes from Bangladesh and India and Yemen, right? Like those are my main ancestries in terms of percentages, right? And in the early 1900s, when Winston Churchill was a war general, he was a war general before he became Prime Minister of England. what happened is he actually wiped out millions of Indian people. Uh, I know, and nobody talks about it, and it's really weird, like, cause I always find it very fascinating in a sad way about colonialism and like the sadness of entitlement. Because the thing is that honestly speaking, Deborah, like Native Americans, this is their country, right? And it's really sad that like there's only very tiny pockets of these communities left, due to the whole gold rush, due to Christopher Columbus being an absolute a dickhead, and it's really sad. But yeah, the reason why I mentioned this cause is So tell me the 4th of July. Remind me what the 4th of July is specifically about. Is that the Day of Independence, or how does that work?
The 4th of July is all about the colonies getting their independence from Britain and the king.
Wow.
So that's what it's all about.
So what is the? I thought in my head, I honestly thought it was about how they it was a celebration of them colonializing America. I don't know, what is that? Is there a celebration for that? I don't know.
The celebration? No, they just celebrate our independence from England is what the 4th of July is about. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting in that kind of, cause I don't know. So from an outsider looking in, here's the thing with me. I'm not very patriotic with my country in England. I don't even know the full verses to the English national anthem, and bless me. And the fact is and the English national anthem is short as hell. But no, seriously speaking though, I'm wow, with this kind of I don't know, I don't want to celebrate the patriotism, cause what the UK did with the British Empire centuries ago, they're the ones that they fucked over so many countries, right?
Yes.
They fucked over so many countries, like America did centuries ago. I don't want to celebrate that shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I know. Yeah.
And it's a weird dichotomy in that kind of regard, cause it's weird because the whole thing of entitlement is cause you've mentioned this ages ago. There's quite a lot of Americans America, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? And them yeah, and I'll protect this nation and all that that kind of language. And I'm like, fam, you guys invaded this shit, man.
I know, right?
You guys fucked over generations of Native Americans. What is wrong with you guys? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, they were enslaved and tortured and massacred and the little kids are put in school. The missions, the missions all up and down the coast of California were built on the backs of enslaved Native Americans. And I don't, okay. Here in California, every fourth grader, when you're in the 4th grade, not when I was in 4th grade years ago, but when my kids were in the 4th grade, they study the missions, and they have a project. They have to build a mission. They have to build one of the 12. I think there's 12 missions.
So to clarify to anyone that doesn't know, what is a mission? Can you just elaborate what that means?
All right. The missions are like churches.
Right.
All up on the coast of California, and they were built back in the 1700s, 1600s, 1800s, because they were trying to establish being in California, the whites and the missionaries. They were like the priests, kind of, and they wore those long cloaks, and the padres they call them, and they built these churches called missions, like Adobe style, Spanish style, and the Indians lived and they wanted to recruit them and Christianize them. That's what it was all about.
Wow. So
Christianity.
essentially, like, kind of like
Yeah.
forcing them into a different faith, essentially.
Yes, and they wouldn't let them speak their own languages. They'd cut their hair. They wouldn't let them have their culture, maintain their culture. So they were enslaved to build these missions, and they were forced to become Christians. And part of the education was for fourth graders to study the missions, and then they'd have to choose one of the 12 to build a little model mission. And so when my son built his mission, I said, well, fuck that. I helped him build the mission, and we built a room with a cellophane window that you could look down into the room, and we made a little bed, and I made a little clay Native American in there with pox.
Oh boy, I'm feeling I can figure out where this is heading to. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so that was my influence on his project, and my son, he understood what the real story was, but they don't want to teach that, really. So, yeah, when he built his mission, we had a sick, dying indigenous person in there with the smallpox all over them, and the cross above them on the wall.
Wow, that's very macabre and daring. I wonder what the teacher was saying.
Yeah, I think he got an A on that. I do.
Like the teacher's like, right, very accurate. Okay, next, A, quick A, and then like don't mention it again. Kind of sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah, so that's what they do here in California.
I feel that this is America bound because it feels like so what I mentioned earlier with Winston Churchill can collaborate to what you said. I feel this is what you may call the whitewashing of history.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very sad time because, like, people, like, it really just shows, like, unfortunately, would you say that a percentage of Americans, they're not educated about, like, the truth? Would you say that's a fair assessment to say?
I believe that's true. I do. There's a lot that we're not taught in school. I certainly never was. When I was in school, I remember seeing lots and lots of black and white films of the concentration camps. That's what I learned about. Yeah.
That's really mad. That is really, really mad. Right. We'll have I'll tell you what. We will have one final thing to talk about because as we're doing this podcast, I literally saw the sunrise, and I had to switch off my lights in my room because it's now bright and sunny.
Oh, okay.
The podcast on my end started in darkness, which is kind of mad. But no, so tell me then, with honestly speaking, with with Deborah Ramos, like, obviously not only you want to express yourself and express your art with your poetry, what is your main aim with your poetry moving forward? Because if obviously you get your first book, they say the first book is one of the hardest to do, like to get that first step in. What is the future of Deborah Ramos?
I just gonna keep on going forward. I'll keep writing and I'll keep painting, and if I can publish another book, I will.
You mean when? Yeah.
Yeah, when? I don't know.
Yeah, mentor. You're hearing this, yeah? Go on. Carry on. I'm trying. Go on. And you just want to just keep going, yeah. Basically, you just want to keep moving forward and just see where it takes you, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like, especially now. I take it kind of a day at a time these days.
I get you. I mean, for me, I definitely think that with your art and I think with your work, because obviously I followed your work long enough. I've listened to your poetry in various Zoom gigs, and I have your book signed as well. Woo, signed as well. I mean, people may want to know, what did Deborah write in the book? I mean, it's all family friendly, no swear words, no crazy language, but it's a very friendly message from a friend to a friend, and that's between me and Deborah only. Ha! You're not gonna find out, guys. Ha! But no, seriously, I think you should definitely think about touring Europe or the rest of the world in the future.
Going back to Europe? Oh, I'd love to go back. I'd love to go
legit,
back.
like, you know, Deborah Ramos, big billboards in Spain, why not?
There you go. I'd like to go to Portugal.
Ah, yes, I would love to go to Portugal, but that never happened, did it, for me?
No. Will we ever get there? I don't know.
Oh man, like, so what's I'll just quickly say. So what's mad is that there's in the UK there's something called a quarantine list. Every couple of days there's like a new country been added. Oh, if you're traveling to this country, you got to quarantine. Oh, nope, not allowed. Nope.
Really?
So basically, for example, for example, here's a funny example. So a few weeks ago, Spain was added to the quarantine list, but they say it'll be added to the quarantine list on Monday at 4 a.m. So basically, so people avoided quarantine. There was a big gold rush of. So basically, Spain is like a lot of people in the UK travel to Spain on holiday or they have like villas or houses there. They had to rush back. Go, oh shit, gotta beat the quarantine. I'm like, you guys are idiots for traveling. You guys are like. My own honest opinion, yeah, is you can travel, do your traveling, like travel as much as you can. It's your life. And I'm like, guys, expect to have quarantine. You idiots.
I mean, this is life or death. All this right now.
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely. Like, do you know, like it takes me an hour to get to my girlfriend's, and I'm slightly scared. Like, I wear like as you may see by my what I look like when I perform, I have my mask on anyway. I'm used to masks, but with the face mask is like literally. So, for example, the day before we're recording this episode, I was filming for a barbershop company, so their grand opening of their new barbershop. And one of the things I do, Deborah, is video editing for other people. And
wow.
and for me, I literally like had the face mask on throughout all 3 hours. Not even took it off once.
Good. Well, good for you.
I know. Yeah. My girlfriend looks at me like, "How do you have that mask ready?" I'm like, "It's chill. It's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. I can do that." It's fine. Like know. But yeah, it's mad. It's mad. But yeah, no. It is mad. So yeah. Well, I have to say, this podcast has been great. I hope you've enjoyed it. By the way, Deborah.
Yes, it's been fun. It's been fun talking to you.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? I remembered much earlier off air, you did say that I could read one or two of my poems. I ran out of chat. I mean, we've had 1 hour and 37 minutes of talking. I mean, you haven't ran out at all, but I'll leave it to you. You can read one poem if you want. It's up to you.
Do you want to hear? Okay. I don't know. What poem do you want to hear? Is there anything? Okay. I'm going to read something I wrote about the fires. Is that okay?
Yeah, go on. This is DrayZera UNCENSORED. This is all about you. You do whatever is fine. Like, you don't need to ask for my permission. It's fine. You're the boss.
I'm the boss, yeah. Okay, it's called Ashes of the Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Feather, fur, blood, and bone hang in the violent sky. Delicate, drifting funerals anoint my windshield. California, a grave now, mourns beneath the charred remains of 1,000 souls. I gather ashes of coyote, deer, rabbit, mouse, and piece them back together. I weep blessings and send them on their star journey. That's that.
Woo! That was a very deep and serious poem. And also for this specific podcast as well, say for example, do you think by October the wildfires would have eased, or do you think it will carry on?
God, I think they'll be, by then they should be okay. I just heard that they're 85% contained.
Wow, okay, all right, cool.
That's good news. That's good news.
What I will do regardless is obviously is deep to your heart and all that kind of stuff. I'll also post a link for California wildfire relief fund, or like, you know, basically anyone that needs help. If you're listening from California or know anyone that's been affected, I'm going to post a link for donations, because at the end of the day, it's a very sad situation. Like, I have never seen a wildfire in my entire life, so
Oh, yeah. I have, living out here where I am. We had the cedar fire back in 2005, and it came up over the hill, and we had to evacuate our neighborhood and hose down the house, and it was right up at the end of the street, and we're really lucky to get out of that. And that was from that was started by a hunter trying to start a fire. He tossed out a cigarette butt or something, and it was a really bad fire. That was a bad year for people too.
Absolutely.
But California burns. We shake and we burn.
It's mad. It's mad. My question to you, so Deborah, before we go off, give us your social media links. Woo! Tell us your links, and I'll post it in the description anyway. But yeah, tell the world your links.
Okay, well, I'm not on Instagram. I'm on Facebook.
You're like, no, I'm not on Instagram. Nope, none of that.
I'm not that. I'm just your basic Facebook, Deborah Ramos. And then I also have a group Facebook page called Poets at the Bench. On those are my links. oh, and my blog. I have a blog. Enjoy the Journey. It's Rising Goddess.
Yeah. Good blog. I have checked out your blog a few times. It's great.
Yeah, you've got
I got it. And also, I'll post a link, because I just found the link out myself using the magic of the internet, of a link to get your book from Amazon.
Yeah, I can do that. Or, you can get in touch with me. You can PM me, and I can sign one.
Signed copy. Yep, absolutely.
Signed copy.
Yeah.
By me.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. More profits go towards Deborah Ramos that way. I mean, what's happening with Amazon and Jeff Bezos? I mean, Jeff Bezos takes most of the profits. I mean, anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast.
So you're totally awake, and it's midnight for me right now.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I haven't even eaten anything at all. I've also forgotten to even get myself some water. So I've forgotten about that. So I'll definitely hydrate myself after talking for the best part of nearly 2 hours. But anyway, guys, this has been DrayZera UNCENSORED with myself and Deborah Ramos. And this has been DrayZera, and this is Deborah Ramos.
Yes, this is me, and thank you. This is awesome.
Woo! This is awesome indeed. And tune in for next week for another episode of DrayZera Uncensored. All the links in the description of Deborah Ramos and my kind of stuff is all kind of there as well. Woo! We shall zera later. Goodbye.